A very good evening, everyone at Tushita and online. Thank you for joining us. So it is our privilege to welcome Venerable Lama Aria Drolma this evening. Thank you so much for coming to Tushita. So Venerable Aria Drolma will lead a meditation tonight.
Yes.
And let me quickly introduce Lama Aria Drolma before we start. So Lama Aria Drolma is an ordained Buddhist teacher and a renowned expert in mindfulness meditation. She leads corporate retreats, workshops, and programs worldwide, and is a highly sought-after speaker at universities and organizations. With over a decade of study and practice in Tibetan Buddhism, Lama Aria is trained in the Dharma Path program, a progressive series of meditation and contemplation stages for advanced practitioners offered by Palpul Tupten Chöling Monastery in upstate New York, where Venerable lives, right? Lama Aria Drolma was born in India, in South India, and initially she practiced the Hindu traditions, and she was also deeply influenced by Christianity. Later in her life, she was initiated by her Tibetan Buddhist master and began her dedicated study and practice of Tibetan Buddhism. She has received her ordination as a Buddhist nun from Guru Vajradhara, His Holiness the 12th Chamgong Kensing Taisi Tupa Rinpoche, who came here many times. She is a graduate of the traditional Tibetan Buddhist 3-year retreat program, an advanced and fully cloistered Tibetan Buddhist meditation training at Palpum Tupten Chöling Monastery in upstate New York. Under the guidance of Venerable Lama Norla Rinpoche, an accomplished meditation and retreat master and the abbot of Palpum Tupten Chöling Monastery, she trained in the practices of the Karma Kagyu tradition, as well as those of the Shangpa Kagyu and Nima traditions. Lama Norla Rinpoche was a disciple of two of the most accomplished realized masters in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, His Holiness the 16th Karmapa and Kyabje Kalu Rinpoche. Prior to her ordination as a Buddhist nun, Lama Aria Drolma enjoyed a successful career in the fashion industry as a model and held prominent roles in design, advertising, marketing, and public relations in New York City. She has a BA degree in Sociology from the University of Mumbai and is trained in computer programming from NIIT in India. Lama Aria Drolma's career has spanned several continents, including Asia, America, Europe, and Australia. Lama Aria Drolma is a distinguished speaker and meditation instructor with regular engagements at prominent institutions and events in New York City, including the Robin Museum of Art, Tricycle Magazine, Google, Tibet House in the US, Golden Drum, and the United Nations. She has led mindfulness meditation sessions at esteemed universities such as the University of Oxford in the UK, Harvard Business School, Women's Association, Fordham University, Marist College, and Chapel of Sacred Mirrors, among others. In addition to her academic contribution, Lama Aria Drolma has been a key participant in several global wellness initiatives, including the Iris Wellness Festival in Hong Kong, the Parliament of World Religions in Canada, and wellness retreats in Mexico. Most notably, she was invited to serve as a moderator at the very recent and first Asian Buddhist Summit in India. She is currently facilitating mindfulness meditation at the Harvard Club in Boston in the US. So Venerable Lama Aria Drolma, please share a meditation with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nico. Thank you, everyone, for coming to this lovely, wonderful place. And also thank you, Tushita, for inviting me, Dr. Renuka. And it is so wonderful, magical to be here, because as I stepped down, you know, and I met Nico as well, you know, I was so happy to hear there are so many great masters who have come here. It is incredible, from His Holiness Dalai Lama to Taisitu Rinpoche, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and His Holiness Karmapa. Oh my God, what blessing. You can't get any better than that. So, and I'm so grateful that there is such a beautiful place here in this bustling Delhi, you know. So thank you all for taking your time and coming here. And Thank you, Nico, also for reading my bio. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate being here. So the topic today, I'm going to start. And Nico, is there some time that I can see anywhere, or just to keep the time frame? Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Yes, lovely. So today, I had a theme, and the theme is a guided meditation practice focused on living to your highest potential, fostering clarity, purpose, and inner peace. So this is the theme that I chose. I always like to give a small discussion before the mindfulness meditation. You know, most of us, we come here to meditate, but what is our highest potential? How can we live to our highest potential? Is it that we live every day from day to day, same thing, no change, and then in the middle of all this, we go to work, we come back, and the routine is the same, and then you pass away? Is that what you want in life? You know, this point really hits home recently. My friend was celebrating her birthday, and she was 60 years old. So she had put together all her past pictures, and it was incredible, from a small girl, and then she went to high school, she went to college, her job, her friends, she got married, and then she has 2 children, and her children got married. And then what? And when I saw those pictures, it really was like, oh my God, one day we're just going to die. But have you lived your life to the highest potential? And one of the things that changed my life was, I was living in New York, and this was what I was doing every day. I was in the fashion world. I was going to work. It was wonderful. And then going out with all my friends, and again coming back, another dress, another shoe. It was going on that way. Going out every evening to be preoccupied with something. And one day when I came back home, I was removing all my makeup, and I said, oh my God, who am I? What is the purpose of my life? Am I here to just leave all carbon footprints and one day just die? I saw my mother who passed away. And then the next day, she was larger than life. She loved all wonderful things. And after she passed away, when we cremated her body, all we got was a bowl of ashes. And that's what life is, like she was dust. So I want you to remember, I want you to really clearly think about your life. I want you to live life to the fullest, and to live life, a happy life, because you have a choice. You have a choice whether to choose happiness or to choose unhappiness, to live in fear, to live in anger, to live with past regrets. So that is why meditation is so powerful. Meditation is powerful because what is the highest potential of our life? The highest potential is self-realization. It is self-realization in the sense that we have the Buddha nature. We too are capable of becoming fully enlightened, just like Buddha. And we have the path. We have so many great masters here in India showing you the direct path to enlightenment. Because if you don't have that purpose, that I have to live to my highest potential, which is self-realization, so the cycle keeps continuing again and again. You're going to be born and reborn, So go home sometimes and say, what is the purpose of my life? I have to meditate more. Do whatever you're doing, but also put your energy into meditation practice. that self-realization, knowing that you have the Buddha within you. Living a life where your heart is filled with compassion. And you may think, oh my God, it's easy for me to say, but day to day, you see the traffic, people honking. How do you live? Compassion is a practice. So here are a few points I just want to give you, how meditation practice focused on living to your highest potential, fostering clarity, purpose, and inner peace. The first point I have is connect with your inner self. We are just not the body, what we see outside. We have the Buddha nature within. And how do you realize that? Through mindfulness, through meditation. Okay, and I'm so happy all of you are here. So understanding and accepting who you truly are is the foundation for unlocking your highest potential. So, today, normally we probably think out there, somebody is better than me. I don't like myself. So many thoughts come into your mind. But then really, really accept who you are. You are the Buddha seed is within you, So you are a magnificent human being. You have all the potentials to becoming fully enlightened. So accept however you are born. And just accepting yourself will bring so much joy to yourself, okay? And the second point is clarify your intention and purpose. This is important. What I'm trying to say is don't just live your life day to day. Really go home. Focus on your goals and purpose of your life. What do you want from life? Through guided, when you go through, do some meditation, envision what you want for yourself, like clearly, like a movie. This is what I want out of life. What brings you joy? What brings you fulfillment? What values are important to you? Make clear intentions and align it with your inner energy. Meaning, what you could do is say, this is what I want. These are my clear intention. This is what I want from life, and work towards it. So when I realized that I wanted to really, really have a spiritual life, and I really prayed, and within a month or so, I met my guru. The world is magical. You can pray for what you want. And prayers are very, very important. And I'm sure, how many of us pray here? Any hands up? All of us, right? And it doesn't have to be the image you see here. It can just be to a higher purpose. Okay? Prayers are so important. So I live in New York, and one of the things that I noticed, like in schools, in the American culture, they don't have any kind of prayers because, they don't want to have that partiality, either Christian or this religion. They, it's just going to school. They don't have any foundation. When I was studying in school, I went to a Christian school because it was a boarding school run by Irish nuns. We had prayers, as we went into school, it was an assembly, it was prayers. And what was important was, it was like kindness, saying, I'm going to be kind that day, I'm going to be a good human being. So it's an everyday reminder for us to be a good human being. And a third point is, a lot of us, we have limitations for who we are. We feel we are born in a certain way. We are born into a middle-class family. We are born into a low middle-class family. So I can't get anything. This is it. I have no education. I'm not tall enough. I'm not good enough. These are all beliefs that are really limiting beliefs. Whatever another person has achieved, you can achieve the same thing as well, but with with a purpose, with discipline, diligence, you too can. And so I'm coming back to my life, where I was born in a place called Coorg in South India. And if you look at the map, it's not even in the map, okay? But when I was little, I loved all things beautiful. I would play with my mother's makeup, and I wanted to, some of the magazines I saw, I wanted to be that person. But it was just a dream, and my mother would tease me and say, well, she would often tease me and my sister, because it was an unbelievable thing to even dream of being a model or something like that. But it was not that I dreamt of being a model, but it was what I wanted to do. I all the covers of magazine, I wanted to be that person, and it was I could achieve it all. And then I went to New York. I didn't know anybody there. I could still model in New York. Whatever your heart desires, all of y'all can do it. And one of the times, I remember a very, very important lesson when I was young. I was in school, and we heard Tenzing was going to come to our school. And Tenzing was one of the person who climbed Mount Everest with Edmund Hillary, And so we were so excited, because for us, when we lived, here in India, the Mount Everest is the thing, to climb. And we thought this man is going to be very big, very tall. And here he walks in. He was not a very tall person, And that day was such a big lesson to me, that if he can climb the mountain, I can do it too, So always have that in your heart. If somebody else has done it, you can do too. You're also, that person is a human being, so are you. So don't think that don't have limiting beliefs that, I can't do this. If you look at all the people in the world leaders, they are our examples, There are so many people who have gone out of their way to do great, great things. And another big example is Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi. We have such great leaders, today in America, a lot of what he taught, Mahatma Gandhi, non-violence, Nelson Mandela, all these people, these great, great people who are simple beings, they are their teachings, what they did really matter in the world. So can you, you're not that one person, you're not some island that nothing can be done. You can do everything somebody else has done as well. And how many of you all do meditation regularly? Okay. How many of you all are beginners? Okay. So beginners is 1 year or more than 1 year? More than 1 year? Okay. And how many of you all do it some days? Meditation. Okay. Okay. Wonderful. So I can't emphasize enough how important meditation is. This is a gift. It's such a rich heritage we have here in India, that we have access to meditation, And it's the most powerful thing you can do. It's so powerful that it is something that can give you peace of mind. To start with, it can give you some direction, it can calm your mind, and you can have clearer thoughts, clearer intuition, and ultimately meditation is the path for you to be fully enlightened. And I love the word in Tibet. Meditation, the word meditation means gom, G-O-M, in the Tibetan word. And what it means is to familiarize ourselves with our mind. See, to make our friend our mind, to make the mind our friend. Why? It is this mind everything emerges from. Your sorrows, your anger, your limiting beliefs, everything comes from the mind. So, whenever you have problem, when you have anger, it's the mind talking to you. So how about making your mind a friend? And that I want you to go and look up the word GOM, G-O-M, okay? Making mind your friend. How can you make your mind your friend? Through meditation. So meditation actually is not like, literally when we are starting, as we are beginners, of course we have to sit properly, in a good posture, just like when you have to dance, you have to learn how to dance. Just like that, meditation has posture and everything that you can sit. So through meditation, you also learn how to have self-compassion. Compassion for others, compassion for yourself, and then forgiveness. All of us, we probably, let's say a friend has, she's been a good friend for many years, but she says something what you didn't like. How long have you been keeping that grudge? You've stopped talking to her, right? It must have been your aunt, your whoever's close, right? But they've also said 100 good things, but you don't remember that. So one of the things with the Tibetan meditation, Himalayan meditation itself, is to also generate self-compassion for yourself. That's something we learn. So when I was I live in the monastery in upstate New York, and our daily practice, we practice the Tibetan practice. It's a very, very deep practice. It's called Tonglen. And what does it mean? Tonglen is having self-compassion for yourself and compassion for others. When you have compassion for yourself and compassion for others, you're in a very positive energy field. So every morning I practice. What do I do in the mornings? Beside my formal practices, as the minute I get up, I set the intention the previous day that today I'm going to have a good day. And then how can you have a good day? Because all of you all have to go, and then you have this traffic. There are so many people bumping into you, the cars honking at you, a lot of difficulties to go to, just to merely get out of your house and go to work, right? So how about developing compassion for yourself? And it's very easy. All you have to do is, that's okay. Today will be a good day. I'm going to have a positive intention in my head. Like, I'm lucky I live in the Aurobindo monastery, and we see in the mornings, we see a lot of peacocks and a lot of little baby birds. And it's so beautiful because, today, all these past few days, the weather has been so nice. So I just look at the weather and say, thank you. So how do to live intentionally is very important. In the morning, as your eyes open, think of 5 things of gratitude. Just think that, I can, walk and get coffee today. Any 5 things. So you're setting that tone for a positive day. And then think of things you're thankful. Then get up, do whatever you want. And then, so that is cultivating. The 4th point was self-compassion, forgiveness. Forgive everybody, all the people who have hurt you, because you're going to keep such a big baggage. It doesn't serve anyone, Let it go. I'm like, this is who I am. I'm a bigger human being. And then, of course, cultivating gratitude and being present. What we normally do is our minds is always thinking of the past or the future. Past is always regret. Future is always fear. Most often, okay? So when we meditate, we always come to the present moment. Because when we use this breath as our point of focus, then we are always staying in the present moment. Can we breathe in the past? No. Can we breathe in the future? No. That's why mindfulness meditation is very good to practice. Okay. So I've discussed these 5 points with you all, how to live a very purposeful life. And now we will start the mindfulness meditation. So as you all know, in the Tibetan tradition, there are 2 main points when you start your meditation. First is your body, the posture, and the second, the mind, because the mind has to meditate. So in the Tibetan tradition, and the practice of shamatha, the mindfulness meditation, has the meditation they've been practicing even before Buddha's time. But His Holiness Dalai Lama, Taisitha Rinpoche, all these masters do practice shamatha, and then it is vipassana, which is insight meditation. So while you sit to meditate also, there are 7 main postures in the Tibetan tradition. And what are they? Just to tell you briefly, you all are all sitting in the lotus position. You can sit like how the Buddha sits with both their legs up like this. That's fine. You can also put your leg out a little bit, which is like called the Bodhisattva posture. And then you can also sit on the chair, because the next Buddha will be Maitreya Buddha, and he'll be sitting in the chair. So you can absolutely sit on the chair. And then when you sit on the chair, what is important is both your legs, you should keep it parallel, like parallel, not crossed, keep it parallel, which will keep you grounded. Keep your back straight. It's very important. The one important posture that I want you to always stay in is a straight back. Now, if you're leaning here, if you're leaning there, that's not meditation. Because just like when you dance, if you're a ballerina, it's important for you to have a very good posture. And we're going to, sit upright. But if anyone has any kind of, it hurts their neck or the back, then just relax. That's okay. Most importantly, you have to relax. So let's sit upright, but relax to it. Now, what do we do with the hands? There are 2 ways we can keep our hands. One is put your hands out like this, palms down, and then just place it on the leg, wherever it falls. It can fall on your knees, it can fall on your thighs, wherever you feel relaxed, okay? And then the second way of the hand is right hand on the left. So right over the left and 2 thumbs touching like this, like so. But otherwise, you can place your palms down and on your knees, okay? Now, you can look up. In the Tibetan tradition, we always keep our eyes opened. Why? Because if you don't keep your eyes open, all of us will fall asleep. And today, you've gone to work, you've come back from work, it's school, wherever. So we keep our eyes open, but there are 2 ways we can keep our eyes. We can, from the tip of the nose, where the small finger is, you can just like about 4 feet away from the tip of your nose, just look down and you can pick a spot in front of you. The further, it's better. Don't study that spot. Don't think, oh, that color is different. Now again, when you keep your eyes open, and if you want, you can also keep your eyes closed, no problem. Now, importantly, when you keep your eyes open, but you are able to see peripherally, meaning you can see all what is happening here. It's like driving, So that's the way, because if you're too focused, your mind is too tight, okay? Now, the chin is a little bit tucked in. The tongue is on your upper palate. And you can lower your gaze or you can close your eyes. So that's the body posture. That's 7 body posture. You can always go and look at shamatha, 7 body posture. It'll tell you. Wonderful. All of you are doing well. Now, what is important? Your mind. And feel free, if your legs are hurting, to sit on the chair. No problem at all, okay? Now, the most important thing is your mind. That's what does the meditation. So now you're here. You're probably, oh, this is a new teacher. What is she saying? The mind is constantly thinking. And that's what the mind does. Now, very important for you to understand, meditation is not about stopping your thought. We never stop our thoughts. Why? Because the nature of the mind is to have thoughts. Thoughts come, thoughts go. And the example that we have is the mind is like a sky, okay? Beautiful, spacious sky. And the thoughts are like birds. They come, they go. But what do? We hold on to a thought. We've had a fight with somebody. We went to the office. Somebody was mean to us. So when the thought comes, we make a story out of it. Okay? So remember, while you're doing meditation, you are not going to stop your thoughts, but you're just going to observe it. You're going to watch it like when you go home and watch television, you're not interacting with everything. The television is on. You're just observing your thought, right? So we call this the formal practice where we sit and we observe our mind. So this mind is like a monkey mind. It goes from one thought to another. So the mind needs a focus, and the focus will be your breath. Okay? So now sit as comfortably as you can, and you can sit in the chair, feel free, and I'll ring the gong and I'll give you a guided meditation. You don't have to worry about anything. Let's get back to the posture. Back is straight but very relaxed. Your eyes can be closed or you can look down. Inhale and exhale. Breathe normally. And just observe that breath. As we start the mindfulness meditation, we are going to take 3 deep breaths. And it'll be this is the only time we will breathe very deeply. And it'll be like, this is an example. Breathe in deeply. And then breathe out with a sigh. Just let go of all the stress you're carrying for the day. And now, the second breath. Breathe in deeply. Let go of all the stress that you're carrying. And now the third breath. Breathe in deeply. Let go of all your stress. Now, breathe normally at your own pace. Breathe in, inhale. And let's exhale normally. And let's count for 7 breaths. Inhalation and exhalation is counted as 1. So let's count to 7 breaths. If you've forgotten the count, go back to counting 1. Inhale and exhale. And as you exhale, let your breath fill this entire space in front of you. And just rest in that present moment of awareness. If you've completed your 7 breath, just slowly open your eyes. And slowly rotate your neck very gently. So, you have successfully completed 7 breaths. Now, how many of you all completed 7 breaths? Did you all forget? Did anyone forget? Did you all complete 7 breaths? What happens is when we put our mind's attention on our breath, we're breathing in and we're breathing out. First count, we are very good. Second, okay. Third time, our mind has wandered off somewhere. It's saying, now I have to go home, I have to cook, I have to do this, it's going to get late. That's what the mind does. What do you do then? So the mind has quietly gone into some thought. The minute you catch yourself thinking, your mind has wandered off, you say thinking. Okay? Drop the thought and bring your mind's attention back to your breath. So first breath, inhale and exhale. As you exhale, visualize your breath is filling the entire space and just rest your mind. Okay? You'll naturally rest your mind. This is a practice. How many of you all have gone to the gym one day and have had perfect bodies? Anyone here? No, right? That's how the mind is. The more you practice, the more you will get better. So remember, when you're put your mind's attention on your breath, inhale and exhale. And as you exhale, visualize the air filling this entire space and just rest your mind. Second breath, you'll notice your mind has wandered off. That's okay. We never stop the thought. We'll say, okay, thinking, drop the story, and again bring your mind to the breath. So that is what meditation is, okay? That's you're observing your breath. You're an observer, okay? So again, I'll ring the bell, and this time, let's do a count of 21. And if you miss a breath, you miss counting, go back to 1. And remember, when your mind has wandered off into a thought, that's okay. Say thinking, drop the thought, and bring your mind's attention back to your breath, observing it, okay? Okay, we'll start now. Inhale and exhale. Breathe normally at your own pace. And as you exhale, visualize your breath filling the entire space in front of you. And just rest in that present moment of awareness. Let's count till 21. Breathing in and breathing out is counted as 1. Feel free to adjust your seat if you feel like coughing. And if you're falling asleep, sit upright. Inhale and exhale. Breathe normally at your own pace. And as you breathe out, visualize the air filling the entire room, and just rest in that present moment of awareness. And if your mind has wandered off to some story, just say, thinking, drop the thought, and bring your mind's attention back to your breath. Breathing in and breathing out. Just observing that with your full intention. And attention, your mind's attention. Inhale and exhale. Breathe normally at your own pace. And as you breathe out, visualize the air filling the entire space. And just rest your mind in that present moment of awareness. And feel free to adjust in your chair. If you feel like coughing, that's okay. If you catch yourself, your mind has wandered off somewhere, be gentle, that's okay. Just say, thinking, let go of that thought, and bring your mind's attention back to your breath. It doesn't matter how many times your mind has wandered off, because that's what the mind does. But the minute you notice it, then bring your mind's attention back to observing your breath. Now slowly open your eyes. And slowly, gently, just rotate your neck very gently. And take that sip of water. Open your eyes. See, mindfulness meditation is so simple. And this is all you have to do. When you wake up in the morning, don't think you have to do a 30-minute marathon. You know, when you sit with the meditation saying, I have to sit for 1 hour, 30 minutes, that's when you probably fail. Just say, I'm going to sit for 7 breaths. I can sit for 1 breath. So what happens? Steps. 2 steps. Body posture has to be straight and relaxed. Second step, mind. Putting your mind is like a crazy mind. It jumps from one thought to another. So it needs an anchor. So you're putting your mind's breath, your mind's attention on the breath. So I want to stop here. And if you have any questions, can you do this at home? If you have any questions, please let me know. I will answer all your questions. Feel free to ask me any questions you have. And even from any of the Zoom audience, you're welcome to ask any question, and Nico will repeat the question. Yes.
Just I think one important.
So they can hear you online.
Hi, namaste.
Namaste.
I wanted to ask. I think it's important so that everyone knows about it. That consumption of food, there needs to be a gap between the meditation and food intake, I think.
Yes. So in the Buddhist tradition, the question was about consumption of food. In the Buddhist tradition, there obviously if when we have a lot of food, what happens? We feel sleepy, correct? So maybe when you start your meditation, take some time for you to, after you've eaten. And also, guess what? There's another important thing. When you sit down to meditate, sit with a good positive state of mind. Because, and that is like counteractive in the sense, oh, I want to meditate when I'm angry and, I'm very anxious. What happens when you do that, if your mind is not trained, then it'll show up as more anxiousness, more anxiety, and more stress. So yes, once you've eaten your food, take some time so don't feel sleepy. And don't set a time limit. I'm going to sit for 30 minutes. I'm going to sit for 10 minutes. Sit as much as you feel comfortable. And the minute you feel good, get up. Don't expect anything out of meditation. A lot of people say, tell you, oh, I felt very blissful. No expectations. Each day will bring different things in your meditation. So when you sit to meditate, you're not going to say, yesterday I had a very good meditation. I'm going to recreate it. No. Every moment is a new moment. So you're going to sit and you're going to put your mind's attention on your breath. There are different ways to meditate. Don't mix too many things, this talk, that meditation, this meditation. Follow the simplicity. And the simplicity is you count for 7 breaths, you count for 21 breaths, then you can count for 100 breaths. Okay, that was a good question. Anyone has another question?
Namaste.
Namaste.
Actually, I would like to ask, I don't know how to put it right. I mean, in this life, I mean, how much is related to the past life karmas? Like your relationships, your parents, your wife, and your children. I mean, why you feel very strong vibe with them, apart from the, other persons? I mean, is it because of some previous life? I mean, have you been with them in any other, relationship in previous life? And again, you are building a very strong karmic connection, like with your parents, with your wife, and with your children. So, I mean, how does it affect? I mean, what should you do so that your karma, doesn't get affected by this?
Yes.
I mean,
So in the Buddhist tradition, of course, we believe in karma. And, karma is a part of a lot of Eastern spirituality, Eastern religion. A lot of us believe in karma, the Buddhists, the Hindus, the Sikhs. And I think Christianity, when they say, there's a little bit of controversy, but, when they say Jesus rose from the dead, what does it mean? That, it means that he came back to life. But let's concentrate on Buddhism. We totally believe in karma. We believe it's almost like so scientific. It's like every action has a reaction, correct? So that's what we believe. And then some people will also talk about karma. It's almost like, even your hair, where if you have black hair, blue eyes, whatever, all that is karmic. So it's not just the good and the bad things happen to you. It's almost like a DNA, that you have come with a certain DNA. You have certain things that you carry within your body. So karma is very real. And yes, they say in the Hindu tradition, Buddhist tradition, we meet people to settle all the karmas, to show love and to show compassion, So it's a very part of the tradition. Yes, karma is very, very, important. But sometimes there are certain things that we have no scientific data or anything. But to look at karma in a way that you look at also the reality of life. Yes, these parents, they must have meant something to me in my last life. But I think the most important thing is for you to evolve. So you have choices. You can live in a very negative energy mode, which is having a lot of anger, displaying anger, or you can live a life with compassion in your heart. Even in this chaotic world in Delhi, you could still show compassion, to yourself, to everybody around. And that's what, your highest potential is, to have compassion for yourself, to have compassion for others. And because, we can never prove what karma is, right? Who our families are. We can just say, oh, we must have... in the Buddhist tradition, what they often say is we have all been mothers 1,000,000 times to each other. So we've met, all of us. We've been mothers to each other million times. So to look at everybody as a mother in a past life and to show compassion for them and to show compassion for ourselves. And here in India, we would give our lives to our mothers, right? Here in the Asian. So that's how they want in the Buddhist tradition, you've been my mother in my last life. You've been my mother. You've been mother. So I will be compassionate to you as though you were my mother in my last life. What does it do? You know how easy it is to get angry, right? But we feel terrible after that. But if you have compassion the whole day, when you practice, how light, you feel so lighthearted. And so that's why I love, showing compassion. Today, I had gone to have lunch and the waiter to the table next to me, he brought the wrong food. And this lady was having a lovely conversation in front of her, but the minute she had the wrong food, she was terrible. She shouted at the waiter, and she said, now it's going to be late, and spoiled the whole mood around her, like the energy. And poor thing, the waiter himself, he was feeling so bad. But more than anything, she spoiled the energy for herself, because when you get angry, there are a lot of chemical things that happen within our body, right? When you have anger, there's so many steroids, so many things happening within our body. So basically, when she's eating a food, she's poisoning herself. So how about, when she saw the food, in 1 minute, you can say, okay, that's a mistake, but it's going to take 2 minutes, for him to bring the food. I'll have patience. So always, every moment, if you watch your mind, more and more you do mindfulness meditation, more and more you do meditation, you can see the anger. When you get angry, you can see it arising. And then you have a choice. Okay, should I run with it? Why be angry the whole day? Or should I just be compassionate? Say, yeah, my anger's coming. I'm going to be compassionate to myself. That's okay. That's okay. And then showing compassion to the other person. And that's the highest way to live life, I think. Thank you for your question.
Thank you. Thank you.
Does anyone have any other question? Anything about meditation?
I don't know if it's related to meditation, but from his question, I have a question. Rather, two questions. So if you can answer them.
Sure.
Where does compassion for others come when... So I'm in that peculiar situation where I've left family. And because I wanted to do my own healing. And so there's this internal guilt or struggle between responsibility to your dharma in terms of your relationship and versus compassion for self. And the other question, can I say the other question?
Yes. Do you want me to answer this then perhaps? Oh, go ahead, ask the other one.
And the other question is, especially in the, sorry, I'm bringing in dating here. In the dating world today, when people don't get a closure, and there's a lot of upsetness in a lot of people, women and men both, because people just block you, ghost you, walk away. Where is the compassion there then for self and for others? And how long can somebody have compassion for the other person? I know it's to do with self, but this is a big struggle a lot of people are facing.
Yes. So the first question was, can you clarify your first question?
So my first question was, sometimes life gets so challenging mentally that you might want to leave the situation and walk away.
Yes.
And to find your own path. But then are you not losing compassion for the other people who are connected emotionally to you? Because they feel a sense of loss when you are not there.
Yes. So now, as we are practicing Buddhist tradition, there are a lot of key points which is, meditation, which will calm ourselves, have less anxiety, but it is also a path towards enlightenment. There is a concept of everything is Maya, illusion. There's also a concept of everything is emptiness. And there's also a concept like every phenomena that we see comes from our mind. Okay? So these are very deep-rooted teachings. And that's where, regarding compassion, it is a learned art that the practice called Tonglen, which is an ancient practice, 2,500 years also, the practice is called Tonglen. And the practice is showing compassion for yourself and showing compassion for the other person. That does not mean you're a doormat. You can show compassion. You can, whoever's hurt you in your family, you can say, oh, what was their life when they were children? What did their parents do that they are showing the same thing back to you? You know, just that understanding, that compassion. But holding a grudge and being angry and saying my life is destroyed, you know, you're living that's not the way to live. You can say, you know, what has happened to their lives that they are reacting this way. And then go on to become a better person yourself. Now, regarding the dating aspect, what happens is a lot of us put all our attention on one person and we believe that person is going to bring us happiness. The other person can never make you happy. It's your own mind that makes you happy. So that's why you have to go out and do the things that you grow, you love yourself, and then if that other person comes along and loves you, it's a gift. But this whole conditioning that we have to get married, have 2 children, all this is social conditioning. That's why a lot of people are not happy, because that doesn't work out. Or even sometimes expecting this from the partner, you have to make me happy. It's a huge burden. No, you have to be happy within yourself. Whatever, you know, and then when somebody else comes along, your partner, and shows you love, that's a bonus. So I hope I answered your question.
I think the first question I didn't feel was answered, in the sense that when I'm walking away from someone,
Yes.
am I not showing a lack of compassion for them, in terms of, say I'm away from my children, am I not showing a lack of compassion for them?
Mm-hmm. So I don't know the extent of how you're walking away from your children.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, are you...
No, they're older. They're safe. They're older. They're looked after.
If they are safe and they're older and they are looked after and you are going on your path, I think you should clap to yourself and say you're doing good, because you're still alive and you want to go and do your things, to be creative, to have your own peace of mind. That's absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. And you know, you can say, you can have compassion to the feeling that's coming out, you know, that you're a lesser mother or something. So this self-compassion and generating compassion, it's a very, very deep subject, you know, and it's a subject by itself. So there's no harm if your children are very well taken, you know. You have to live for yourself, you know.
Thank you so much for clarifying.
Yes, thank you. Anybody had any question on the meditation? Anything else? So we have few more minutes, and I don't think anyone on Zoom. Okay, everybody is happy.
Oh, there is one hand.
Yes.
Milin ji, please go ahead and ask.
Yeah. I was wondering whether, you know, I mean, with respect to the previous question, but slightly different, your answer was to be, if one understands where the other person who is hurting us, that's good enough. So I may not, you know, compassion is a feeling as well as it's an attitude. If what you're saying is getting to me. So will it be right for me to say that sometimes I may not feel compassionate, but the very attitude of trying to understand the person who is hurting me and trying to situate that person's upbringing, conditioning, or whatever, which is leading that person to hurt me, is an attitude of compassion. And for now, though I may not actually feel the feeling of compassion, to be able to have that attitude of compassion is good enough.
Thank you for that wonderful thoughts you shared. So what I want to emphasize about compassion, it is a learned art. It is in the Buddhist tradition that it is in the paramitas. What I mean by that is Buddha, you know, when he first became enlightened, he spoke about the Four Noble Thoughts. And this is very, very deep. You know, the first thought was that life is dissatisfaction, dissatisfactory. No matter you are so rich, no matter you are beautiful, no matter you are thin, you can have everything and life is dissatisfaction. That's why you'll see some of the most popular celebrities, let's say Robin Williams, had everything, fame, comedy, everything, but he committed suicide. So life is dissatisfaction. We're never satisfied. Even when we are born, you know, it's a lot of challenge for the mother and the child. You know, even today, our minds are not at peace. It's always like, oh, I have to do something. It's a little, you know, it's not that full-blown sadness, but it is always irksome. So what Buddha thought was, he thought those Four Noble Truths, which is so scientific. And then the second aspect of the second noble truth, he gave us a, you know, path how to, you know, lead our lives. And then he thought about Four Noble Truths, and he thought about the 6 paramitas, having patience, having diligence, having generosity, all these teachings. And one of the teachings is also self-compassion. It's a learnt art to pacify ourselves, because, you know, when we make some mistakes, we are very harsh on ourselves. So it's all about mind training. When I went to the retreat for 3 years, 3 months, 3 days, and I came back, it was very advanced, you know, traditional practices, but it was mostly, it's a training of mind. Literally, when you read the Buddhist texts, the teachings, many scholars, many of them, you know, you can look up mind training. So because this is the, you know, the mind is not here particularly, but we have to train our mind, because the mind is constantly having negative thoughts. That is the cause of all our problems, is the thoughts. Everything is thoughts. So to train our mind, those are one of the few of the steps, how to immediately say, you know, when your anger comes, instead of blowing out, you watch the mind. After you do your mindfulness, you become better and better. And as your anger comes, instead of displaying anger, making yourself miserable, you look at yourself and say compassion for your own self. So these are all trained teachings of Buddha, how to train your mind. And as I said, the practice of Tonglen, it's a very ancient Buddhist practice. Compassion for yourself, compassion for the others. Rather, anger for yourself, anger for rest. Doesn't serve anything. So that's where I'm bringing in the compassion aspect of it from the Buddhist texts, the Buddhist teachings.
Thank you,
So
sir.
now, thank you so much for your question. And now we have only 5 minutes, and let's end this with a wonderful meditation. And I will give you the instructions. I will ring the bell, and for a few more minutes, let's do the meditation really well. And it'll be a guided meditation. So I'm ringing the bell. Sit upright. Breathe in and breathe out at your own pace. Keep your mind's attention on your breath. And let's sit just observing that breath. Okay, we will end this meditation. I'll ring the bell again. Open your eyes slowly. And before we close, I want, in the Buddhist tradition, there's always first we recite the refuge prayers and then the meditation. And the third aspect of the practice is to dedicate this merit to all the sentient beings, meaning we all came together and this was a very noble deed. We are here trying to improve ourselves. We are trying to uplift ourselves. We are trying to be better human beings. And so this is a very meritorious thing we did, this mindfulness meditation. So we dedicate this merit to all the sentient beings. So our merit will always grow and grow. So every time we sit down to meditate, it's always taking refuge in the Buddhist tradition, taking refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha. And then the prayer is so beautiful. And the second line is all saying, I'm taking refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, so I can be enlightened, so I can benefit all beings. So in the Buddhist tradition, nothing is just for yourself. I practice, I become enlightened, I attain moksha, so can benefit everybody. And one of the best attitude you can cultivate is to having compassion for yourself and for all the other peoples, to be a kinder human being. So thank you all for joining. I'm so happy to see all your faces. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Wishing you all the best. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so very much, Venerable.
Thank you.
And I hope all of us here and online and all the people who will watch the recording on YouTube also later will realize, and myself first, how doing a meditation in the morning is not a marathon, and it just takes 7 breaths to start your day and have a good intention. So thank you so much for leading this meditation, and please come again and again to Tushita whenever you pass through Delhi. Please come and visit us and guide more meditations for us.
Thank you.
And please accept this offering on behalf of Tushita.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And Nikki, just take a picture so that you have a memory.
Maybe we can end the Zoom session and take a group photo?
Yes, yes.